Welcome to Are We Gonna Talk About It with Ty
and Taryn. It is a space where we have candid conversations surrounding
faith, marriage,
family, and ministry.
Here we go.
Let's talk.
Let's talk.
Let's talk.
We are back.
Woo!
Season 2 in full effect.
Yes, we are back, y'all. We missed you all. Did you all miss us?
Yeah.
Woo.
Woo.
Woo. Y'all know, like, if you running like super fast, and then like I've never ran track before, so maybe my track stars, people will get the analogy, but this is how I felt or feel. Been running super fast and finally slowed down, and my body is still back there like, wait girl, hold on, I'm trying to catch up. But we here and we excited to be back in the building. How do you feel?
I feel like when I say let me just lay down for 5 minutes, and then 3 hours later.
Oh yeah, 3 hours later. Yes.
But it was needed.
Yeah, it was needed. It was funny because I was just sharing recently with you, like, I like rest, but I don't think I do well with taking naps. I think, like, for me, if I were to take a nap, that 3 hours later, I'm going to wake up just all out of sorts. Like, I'm going to wake up and not really know how to get my bearings. I understand there's power in a 15-minute nap. Yeah. But I can't do that.
Yeah.
Like, but I don't mind sitting and resting because I know that's important. But I just realized, I come to realization, like Sunday afternoon, I just can't do, like, actually let me lay down, intentionally take a nap. Unless we're just watching something, and that's rare where I fall asleep. But
I can.
Yeah, I know you can. You always. You can take a nap anywhere.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But concerning this podcast, we're supposed to be back a while ago.
Yeah, we were actually supposed to come back in. Well, we said we were taking a break for August. We were supposed to come back in September.
It was necessary.
Kids started school in September. Conference. We got so much to talk about. So we just gonna catch y'all up to speed. Of course, we left you all in July. We said, okay, we know summer is approaching. We got to get ourselves together for our children because they coming back out of school. They will be out of school.
They were coming back home.
They're coming back home full on, and we weren't doing like summer programs this particular year.
So how'd that go for you?
So I think we did good. I don't think we were as intentional with the schedule that we wanted to create for them. You know, that was something that we talked about.
We normally do all right over the summer.
Yeah, we say, okay, we got the schedule. We're going to work it. We're going to make sure that we did stay on top of them, like doing their reading, educational stuff, like having their quiet time to do all that stuff. But I think we still navigated pretty well, I would say. I think this year was a little bit better.
I think we both admit that it could have gone a little bit better.
It could have gone a little bit better. But I would say it was better than last year because last summer, I was like in a culture shock with them being home because I was just like, wait a minute. Like, why am I feeling this way? Like, why does it feel like and then I realized, like, oh, I haven't had a break from my children. They've been in the house with me all day. Yeah. And so I was mentally prepared this year. That's why I say it was a little bit better. But, as we progress on, I think eventually they're going to start getting involved in summer programs and things like that.
Yeah.
But I think we did good, especially because, we were also preparing to take this big trip that we were able to take. And some of you, if you follow us, you know that we actually were able to take the kids on the Disney cruise.
Yep. Surprise Disney cruise.
Please
check that out on YouTube if you haven't already.
It's on our YouTube, Francis 4 YouTube page. But we were able to bless them with a trip on a Disney cruise, which is something they've been talking about, desiring. Taylor, the prophetess, that as we call her, has prophesied and said that she's going on Disney cruise. So we were able to make that happen. It was an amazing trip to the point where I'm like, we got to go back again. I don't know when that's going to happen. Hopefully.
I don't know how. I don't know when.
I don't know how. I don't know when. My heart's desire would be to go back next year, 2024, but we will see. But y'all, it was an amazing experience.
It was incredible.
Like from just being on a cruise ship that felt like a whole hotel resort situation.
So let me ask you this. What was your favorite thing about the cruise? And then if there was one thing you would change about it, what would it be?
I'm going to start with what I would change first. I would have had at least one more day.
I
Because
agree.
I think I wanted to explore the ship more. And it was only a 3 day, 3 night, 3 day, 4-day, 3-night.
4-day, 3-night.
4-day, 3-night cruise. And so I would have loved to have that extra day because it would have been a day at sea where we could explore the ship and just kind of not feel rushed like, oh, hey, got to get off the ship to go here. Now get back on. Now got to go. And so I would have had that one more day, but I enjoyed the shows, the acting, the actresses for the Disney dinner.
The entertainment was really
good. The entertainment was off the charts. It was given Broadway. And some of those people probably have been on Broadway before, but it was amazing. The food, I mean, it was just top of the line experience.
One of the things about the entertainment, I think, that maybe Taylor enjoyed was that some of the Disney actors that are not normally brown were brown.
Yeah, like Ariel, which we know, of course, they just came out with the new Ariel movie and she's brown girl. Yeah. But yes, Ariel in the actual theater show that they presented was a brown girl.
Aladdin.
Jasmine.
Princess Jasmine.
Yeah. Was Elsa?
Elsa was
a brown girl too. They
Elsa
was represented.
Too.
Yes, I'd love to see it. What about you? What's one thing you would change?
One thing I would change, I would agree with you, would be having an extra day because I feel like we went so hard for the kids. Like we closed down the ship almost every night.
We did.
Almost every night. We were the last one.
But that's because we were checking our children in the children's kid check-in.
But we don't have time to get into all the details. But
go watch our video.
Go watch the video. It's very detailed in everything that we did.
Francis Ford.
But I think the best part that I enjoyed about it was having to stop. Because I told you, like, for me, that was my first cruise. And so I was just like, I can't just stare at water all day. But it wasn't as scary as I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Even at nighttime, I'm just thinking, like, how you just stare out into the abyss, like, in just the darkness and knowing stuff is out there, but you can't see nothing. But it was actually beautiful, especially with the moon shining off the But having the stops in the Bahamas, I think was really good to kind of break it up a little bit. So that was probably my favorite.
And Castaway Key, which is Disney's private island.
Yeah,
y'all.
So
many details.
Go watch the video.
Go watch the video. We ain't got time to discuss
go
that
watch
here
the
today.
video.
Y'all will see it.
Yeah, go through everything.
Well, yeah. So that was mostly the big bang of our summer. And then after that, we got into school, starting kindergarten.
My boy.
Which was not really a huge adjustment because he was already in preschool, so we kind of were used to him. But the I guess the good thing is like he has longer days. This sounds bad.
No, it don't sound bad.
As a parent.
Every parent
understands that break.
Probably felt two ways. Oh, that's my baby, but at the same time,
glad to see you. Go to school, get your education.
Absolutely.
So yes, he's in school full time. Like, and he goes, of course, him and Taylor go to the same school. So that has been a joy just to see him, get adjusted to.
He's been enjoying
full-time school, kindergarten, a new school for him, and being at school with his big sister. And I love how they come home and like, I saw Tyler today. I waved at him at the playground, and they just get so excited. I love our kids. They are some really good kids. So we did that, got him in school, roll into October, which we are now in the month of October, kicking off this podcast.
How did we get to October?
It's a blur. But God, by the grace of God, we're here. One of the highlights for the month already, we just kicked off, is the women's conference that our ministry had. Flourish Women's Conference 2023.
Oh, listen, this conference was crazy.
So full. Like, I'm still trying to gather my words.
What you mean it was crazy? You a man. You went to the women's conference. Trust and believe.
Yours truly. This guy right here, he actually did the praise and worship.
This women's conference was crazy. Y'all go hard. Y'all go hard for women's conferences.
Yes.
Y'all go hard.
We got y'all, man. Just set the date and we got you.
This is what I told the ladies. I said, so how about this? How about y'all set up and y'all plan and y'all coordinate the men's conference? We let y'all know what we need and what we want, and y'all set it up for us.
Yeah.
And then we'll show up. Y'all won't be allowed to come.
Oh, wow. We'll leave the room.
I mean, you already knew how that was gonna go.
No, we need. Well, we want y'all to have y'all time. Get y'all lives right. Yes.
Just throw us up. Throw us a lob. Throw us a hoop. And because y'all went hard. Everything from start to finish.
Yeah.
Planning, organization. Decorations, the lineup, all of the assistants, everybody in place. Everything was great.
Yeah,
everything was amazing.
We had an amazing team. Like my team, they showed up, they showed out, like they held it down for real. I would not be able to do or host this conference had I not had
your team
a
was
solid team. Yeah,
your team was solid.
So props to all my team members. I think I had like 11 women total on my team, and they just really willingly served and just. Really assumed the assignment. And so I'm honored by that. We had our spiritual mom covering co-pastor Lena Robertson in the building. We had Lakir speak on that Saturday. I mean, it was like back to back. Just everybody got
your mama came through.
My mommy came through. Yes, and yours did
my parents
too.
came up.
Yeah.
And even your sister.
Support my sister. Like we had family. Ohio came in town. So we just had a lot of support, a lot of love. But more than that, it was like just the testimonies, I think, that really blessed me. Because for me, I don't like just have conferences like, oh, let's just have a conference. It's just like, no, God, I heard you speak to me, tell me to do this. And y'all, it was a true faith walk. We might have to revisit the whole conference.
Just take a couple minutes
process,
real quick.
But from the beginning of God giving the word about the conference, for me, I was just like, okay, God said do a conference. I'm used to planning events and things like that. But this time I told my team, I was like, y'all, it's different this year because God is only feeding me bits and pieces of what he wants me to do. And until I'm obedient with the first step, he's not going to give me the next. And so that was a whole process. And it was a lot of uncertainty within myself, but a lot of going and seeking God.
Because you had many moments where you wanted to shut it down.
I was just like, do we have to do this?
Like, we're not doing this.
Like, do I have to?
Or maybe we need to shrink it down.
Yeah,
or maybe we need to minimize.
But one of the things he told me was like, this year, go bigger.
Yeah.
And I really didn't know what that would look like. But bit by bit, I had to literally walk each and every day with the Lord as far as the conference. I mean, we should be walking with the Lord anyway.
Yeah.
With every detail of our lives.
But if you hear go bigger, you would think you would get really excited about it.
Yeah.
But I think for you, it was just like, well, wait a minute. It was
stretching. Yeah. Like the Lord really stretched me and in areas that I felt like I didn't even want to do. Like, Lord, why can't I get somebody else to do it? And
I go support somebody else.
But he was just like, no, I'm gonna show you what's on the inside of you. And and I felt like that. Now he not only stretched me, he stretched my team. So they got to see God's supernatural power show up in the things that they were doing, in the prayers and the fasting that we did as a team collectively. Like they got to see God even before the conference. And so that was the beautiful thing about it. Like the conference was just for me the icing on the cake because God was already doing a whole lot leading up to the conference that once we got there, it was just like, you're here. We welcome you. We done set it up for you real nice, Lord. Have your way. And he did exactly that. The testimonies that keep coming in from people truly transformed by this conference really just blew me out the water. But all glory to God because I know that in and of myself, I wanted to go run and hide.
I'm glad you didn't hide, and I'm sure that there are a bunch of people.
Thank you for supporting me, husband.
Yeah,
like
I'm glad that there's a lot of people that's glad you didn't run and hide because
it's worth it.
So I believe that, and I think a lot of people can identify. Maybe not everybody, but I think a lot of people can identify with the burden that they feel when God gives them something, not just for themselves, but for a people or for a group of people or something that's going to impact a lot of people. But then first having to carry that burden and that weight of everybody, and it's just like, bro, I don't want to do this.
Yeah,
I can't do this. Nah, I'm not going to make it through this. But after you do it, so many people are impacted by it, and I think so many people are encouraged that I believe that even people walk away from it just like, okay, now I can carry my burden for the people that God has called me to, because I saw somebody else do it, or I was impacted by somebody else, or even saw them firsthand have to carry theirs.
And that's one of the things somebody actually walked up to me and told me. They were like, thank you for, I just like the way that you allow yourself to just show up and allow God to use you, because that helps me for the things that I have coming down the line for my own life. And y'all know what? Like one of the things I think we shrink back from, because I am a delivered perfectionist. Like I want everything to be right in place. I want to make sure I say and do the right things. But sometimes the beautiful thing about God is how it says he works all things together for good. He will take those insecurities. He'll take those imperfections. He'll take those stumbling over your words. He will use it to actually encourage somebody else. Yeah. And I recognize that. I'm like, this was a very good conference, a few levels up from where we.
But walking away from it, you like, we need to change this, we need to fix this.
But God still uses it. And that's the beautiful thing about, just coming to God with what he's asking you to give him, and he will use it to do what to work his will. It's not our will. If it was my will, it would be completely different.
Totally different.
But everything happened the way that it needed to happen. And even the lessons in afterwards, like that is still even a process of God working things for our good. Like using even the flaws to say, okay, you see how she's unashamed and standing up there and might be slipping over her. Because that's one thing for me. I think I've always been insecure about like talking and speaking in front of people and things like that. But like to see other people still walk in their gift and to still be used by God, and they're not perfect and things like that, but to still be bold enough to stand firm and do what God told them to do, it helps me.
Yeah. You know, I think the anointing is most potent with authenticity.
That's good.
Yeah.
I like that.
But I think Paul said it best, or Paul said it first, and maybe I just put it in different words, but when he talks about preaching the gospel not with fancy words.
Yes.
Right?
That's
not with worldly,
I've been in that.
Not with worldly wisdom.
1 Corinthians.
But instead, but so that the cross would not be emptied
of its power.
And so, like, I often feel like if I can just be authentic and genuine to who I am without trying to polish up myself, then when people hear it, they won't have to see through the filter that I'm putting on.
Yeah.
They won't have to see through. Well, he's just trying to put on, he's just trying to sound good. That don't even really look like him, sound like him.
Yeah.
But, you know, somebody said on one of our shows when you said y'all, and they said, man, it's the y'all for me.
It's the y'all for me. Yeah.
Because that's authentic. And so it comes through. It's like, it's much easier to receive when you know, like, there's no filter on this. Like, I'm getting the raw version of who you are, so that what comes out of you obviously is coming through in its purest form.
Yes.
As well.
I love it. I was trying to find that verse because that's the one that I truly had to rely on. That was one of the ones that I had on our prayer points for our team. But like Paul says, and it's in 1 Corinthians 2 and 3. I came to you in weakness, in fear, and in much trembling. My speech and my preaching were not with persuasive words of wisdom, but with a demonstration of the Spirit's power, so that your faith might not be based on human wisdom, but on God's power. I just had to read it because I'm just like, I've been in that. Like, that's where I've been sitting.
So I don't have to try to persuade you. The persuasion is God's power.
It's God's power.
That's it.
Yeah. And so when you're doing it and you remember your why, it's because your faith might not be based on human wisdom, but on God's power. So if you're just trying to do things to put faith and attention and affirmation and get all this stuff from people, then you're headed in the wrong direction.
Right.
It's just like, my why is for God's power to show up. Why do we want God's power to show up? We want to see lives transformed. We want to see people be drawn back to Him. And so for me, that is my plumb line for anything that I do and how I show up, whether it's not, the prettiest presentation, all of this. It's just like God says, I want to use it. Here you go, God. You can have it.
Yeah.
Let your power fall.
I think it's much more potent, like when people walk away from a conference and they might say, I don't even remember what they said. All I remember is the presence of God showed up.
Right.
I was transformed. Like something happened. I don't remember what triggered it.
Yeah.
I don't remember what they had on. I don't remember the songs that was sung during praise. All I know I had an encounter with God.
Yes.
And that's what people want. Most importantly is just to experience that power of God, so that their faith can be stirred up. Listen, we only got a few more minutes. This was supposed to be an intro video back to getting back to our podcast.
One of the things I want to touch on real quick with that, because I felt like coming out of all of that, it felt like we've been in a whirlwind, right? We've been rolling. Everything we've been doing has been, I would say, God's will for us. But sometimes there are moments and seasons where things are a little slower. Sometimes things will be moving fast paced. And I know for us, we've had to truly lean into the grace of God. And so now we're coming out of like what felt like a whirlwind
since June. It has been
movement.
It's been
and
been
so
crazy.
I think like kind of slowing down. I think coming out of that conference, for me, what I've been trying to do more of is not smear over the moment. Like I want to guard what took place with the conference, but I know that there is a whole lot more that we have ahead of us that, you know, we're working out. But not trying to, you know, move too fast or become lazy. Cause I know sometimes when you come out of something that was like high speed, it's like, you don't want to do nothing. And yeah, you do have to acknowledge like, okay, I need to rest and things like that. I think for me, I've been like, you know, the house wasn't up to par the way I desired it to be coming out of conference, but I slowly, and this is one of the things Holy Spirit told me. He was like, pace yourself, because, you know, and this is just a nugget I felt led to share. Just, you know, when you're doing something and you're moving at a rapid pace, you know, and you've accomplished that thing, we can either have the tendency to slow up, become lazy, and complacent. Oh, well, I did it now. And then, when you walking with God, one thing I know is just like God said, all right, you done with that. Get you a little rest. Now it's time. And that was one of the things I shared with the ladies, like about the prophet Elijah. We won't get into that. But, for me, I think I'm kind of in there right now. Like, all right, I did that. I know it's more ahead. Yeah. But I feel like I want to rest. And I feel like I want to just sit here for a minute, and the Lord's just like, okay, pace yourself. But it's more.
Yeah, I think and I'll just harp on that just for a second. There's a couple scriptures, but specifically after John the Baptist is beheaded and the disciples come to Jesus and tell him the news, Jesus says, all right, still away with me for a moment to rest. Yeah. But that rest is interrupted just a few moments later. They hop in the boat and the people see them run away on the boat. And it says that the people ran ahead of them and met them on the other side. And I'm just like, bruh, we're supposed to get away for rest. And we only had a moment for rest. And now we got to turn around and minister to a whole bunch more people. Like, we're mourning, we're grieving. We've been pouring out a bunch of miracles happened even before that, where the disciples are saying, look at all these miracles we did. And now he's saying, all right, let's rest. And you think it's going to be a whole week. You think it's going to be a whole month. But that rest was just a moment. And for me, what I took from that was just like,
help us.
Sometimes it's not a whole week. Sometimes it's not a whole vacation. Sometimes it's not a whole month after you come off a great victory, or even if you are mourning or grieving. Sometimes that rest is just, all right, God, I just need 15 minutes with you in the morning. Before I go into work, I don't have it today, but I just need this 15 minutes just to breathe. And I don't even have the words, but let me just get in your presence. Let me put on some worship music. Let me just open up my Bible and read a verse and meditate on it for 15 minutes. Let me just have a moment to myself where I can just, all right, God, I trust you again. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that's still rest. Rest is not always sleep. It's not always a vacation. It's not always, going to sleep. But sometimes rest is
resting in Him.
Is resting in times of refreshing come from the presence of the Lord. Period.
That's so good. And that's helpful. I feel like we just had to go there because I know for me, I've been feeling that, but I'm sure everybody some people can attest to that as well. Especially coming to the down, like getting ready to end 2023. This is like the month where we kind of say, okay, we done came and accomplished, but there might be still more. Might be. I mean, I know for us, it is.
That's my expectation.
It is.
There's
more.
absolutely more.
It is more.
There's definitely a whole lot more.
You're right. Yeah. But we are so excited that y'all are back. One of the other things, lastly, we are celebrating 11 years of marriage. 11 years of marriage this week, October 20th. I should have asked you.
11 years.
I already know you know. Easy. Yeah, y'all. So we are excited.
11 years of marriage.
Yeah, October is a pretty dope month. We got our anniversary. Just came out the conference. Pastor's Appreciation Month. So go and make sure you appreciate your pastor. That could be a whole episode by yourself.
Appreciate your pastors.
Go appreciate y'all pastors.
Because some of y'all pastors is hanging on by a thread. And they just need you to come pat them on the back.
Good job, pastor.
Fortunately, the grace of God has held us up, man. And that's not our story. But all pastors, man, they push, they drive, and many of them will never say when they're struggling or challenged. And so appreciate your pastors.
Appreciate your pastors.
Appreciate your pastors. Man, hopefully on our next episode, we can talk about our anniversary.
Yeah.
Or maybe talk about love. Maybe talk about relationships.
I think we need to drop some marriage stuff in there, right?
If that's what y'all want, drop it in the chat. Let us know. And we'll put that in the next episode.
Right. We did kind of want to cover a little bit of that, but we'll come back to that and share some more.
We're just glad to be here.
I'm just glad to be back.
Glad to be back.
Come on with it.
We done made it back. For season 2.
Look, what is this?
I don't know what you're doing right now. We done made it back for season 2. I didn't know we was going to get through season 1. No. And we gave them a bunch of episodes for season 1,
got like 2 seasons in.
They got spoiled for season 1.
Y'all technically got 2 seasons in 1 season. And so that's why I think we needed that break, because we were rolling. But it was the first season, so we had to give it.
But I'm excited about season 2. I'm not gonna leak no names, but can I just leak some of the things that we have coming for season 2? Season 2, y'all get ready for a bunch of collabs and features. Yeah, we're gonna be bringing some couples and some people on here for season 2. This is the season of collab.
Season of collab. Ooh, come on with the word.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's go with it.
Yeah.
And so y'all stay alert and y'all stay tuned for that too. Some people that we're going to be having on our show that'll be able to drop some nuggets and some jewels, because I know y'all tired of us. No, they not.
Y'all tired of us?
No, they not.
Well, I hope you're not tired of us.
That ain't not T-Tab.
To show that you're not tired of us, we want you to get the word out about this podcast, y'all. We need your help. Like, this is gonna be my PSA.
Go for it.
Because y'all, as y'all know, like, to create and produce content and things like that, it costs. And so if you want to support us and our channel, our podcast, we ask that you can support us via getting word of mouth out, sharing it, liking it, subscribing to it, and we even, I think, have a donate button on our
go for it,
or just share a gift or something like that. You know, we're here to give you all some really good life-changing content, and
that's
what
it.
better way? Yeah, that's it.
That's
what we're here for. Yeah. And so we thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you're listening on the podcast platforms, watching on YouTube. We'll see y'all in the next episode, right?
Talk to us in the chat.
All right.